Hello you guys, and welcome back to my channel. Today I am going to show you step by step how to crochet this amazing, very well fitted sweater. This sweater I crocheted last year, but finally I came up with a written pattern, so I filmed the whole step by step tutorial for you. You can find the written pattern on my website in case you are looking also for the amount of stitches for each row. I crocheted this sweater also in 2 other yarn thicknesses, and I can say that this pattern, it is totally adaptable for different kind of yarn thicknesses. So without further ado, let's just get into it. For this project I am going to use acrylic, 100% acrylic. In this case, this falls into the DK yarns. This yarn is 50 gram per skein, 133 meter long, so you can substitute it with any kind of DK yarn. I think it's going to be okay. And also I'm using an 8mm hook. We are going to crochet a size S sweater, and for that we are going to start with 92 chain stitches. Once we have crocheted 92 chain stitches, we are going to connect the last one with the first one. So make sure that you are going to connect the chain stitches, that they are not tangled like this. So I would personally I just follow like this, and I make sure that the chain will continue flat and it will not be, yeah, just like this straight. So once I arrive here, I will turn it like this, and I am going to connect now my 92nd stitch here to my first stitch over here, and the first stitch over here is this one here. So I'm going to insert the hook like this, and I'm just going to do one single crochet, and here I'm going to put a marker. So here is my first stitch, and I'm going to crochet single crochet stitches on each chain until I arrive at where I started. In total, I'm going to have 92 single crochet stitches, including this single crochet that I just did here for the connection. So I'm just going to insert the hook in the next chain and single crochet. So this is the pattern for the first round. Crochet 1 single crochet on each chain. So here we are. Once I finished 92 single crochet stitches, I ended up here like this. It is a little bit not leveled up, but that's okay. We are going to work on a spiral, which means that the last stitch of the round will be higher than the first one. So now we are going to crochet the second round. The stitch that we are going to use for this sweater, it is the waistcoat stitch. So I am going to take out the marker and show you a little bit how we do this stitch. So for the waistcoat stitch, we do not crochet as we usually do the single crochet. So for the single crochet, I am just going to insert the hook right here at the next stitch, and I'm going to grab these 2 loops on top. This is what we usually do, and then we crochet the single crochet. But for the waistcoat stitch, we are actually going to find the V of this stitch. So if you see here, this stitch has these 2. This is 1 and 2. This is part of the first stitch, and also this V over here. So we are just going to insert the hook in here in the middle of this V, rather than grabbing these 2 strands over here. So we are going to insert the hook in the middle of the V, because this is the structure of one stitch. So we insert here, and in the back, you're gonna see that the hook is going to come up like this, and you're gonna have this round of the stitch. You're gonna have it right here on top of the hook. So this is how we are going to crochet the waistcoat stitch, and then we are yarning over and pulling through, and we are going to do the stitch. So let me show you how I'm going to do it. So as I told you, I'm going to insert the hook where in the center of the V, insert the hook in the center of the V. And I pull it inside, I put it through inside, and this upper here, it's going to be on top here. So what I'm going to do next, this is how it looks in the front, yarn over, pull through, yarn over, pull through. This is the first stitch. I'm going to put a marker because it's good to know where the round starts. And that's the same that I'm going to do for the next stitch as well. So here, where is the V? Insert the hook in the middle and like this in the back. Pull through. And the waistcoat stitch, it looks like a knit stitch. So again, in the next stitch, here is my V in the middle of the V. Okay, so we are going to continue crocheting waistcoat stitches until we have 92 of them. Once I finished 92 waistcoat stitches, I am going to just continue the third round, and the third round is just the same. For the third round, I am repeating the second round, so 92 waistcoat stitches. So continue crocheting waistcoat stitches, 92 waistcoat stitches until you have 42 rounds in total. So here we are, I finished 41 rounds with waistcoat stitch, and now we're going to start the 42nd round. From the 42nd round, we are going to do increases on two sides of the panel. So for size S, we're going to do first this division. We're gonna leave 45 stitches here in the middle and 45 stitches here in the back. And then here it's remaining one stitch on this side and one stitch on this side. We're gonna first put a marker. So I am going to put the first marker. I'm just going to leave the first marker here where I have the first stitch of the round. Then I'm going to count, after the marker, I'm going to count 45 stitches. So here is 45, and at the 46th one, I'm going to put a second marker. And if you count here at the back, we also have another 45 stitches until the stitch here before the marker. So we are going to do first this division because we are doing increases on these sides over here. So the pattern for the 42nd round, it is going to be like this. So we are going to start with the pattern. So where we have the marker, we're going to do one increase, which means that I'm going to do two waistcoat stitches in one stitch. I'm going to put back the marker at the first stitch that I increased over here. Then the pattern continues 45 waistcoat stitches until the marker on the other side. Okay, so once I finish the 45 stitches, I am going to take out the marker, and on the other side I'm going to do an increase again. So at the marker stitch here, 2 stitches in one stitch. I'm going to put back the marker here at the first stitch that I crocheted. over here, and now on the other side I have another 45 stitches until I arrive at the marker. Okay, so here it is. I finished the pattern for the 42nd round. So this is the pattern for the 42nd round. Now we are going to start the pattern for the 43rd round. And for the 43rd round, we are going to do an increase at the marker here again. So I'm going to crochet 2 waistcoat stitches in 1 stitch. That means that I increased with 1 stitch, and I'm going to put the marker at the first stitch over here. And then I am going to continue crocheting until the other marker, before the other marker, and in total are going to be 46 stitches. Okay, and once I finish the 46 stitches at the marker, I'm going to increase again with 2 stitches. Put the marker at the first stitch of the increase. Okay, and now at the other side we have another 46 stitches until the marker. And this is the end of round 43. Okay, and here it is. I finished round 43. So now I'm just going to start round 44. And this is the same what I have been doing for round 42 and round 43. So I will continue to increase 1 stitch on both sides until I arrive at round 48. So I finished round 42 and 43, so I am going to continue crocheting around 44, 45, 46, 47 and 48. So I need another 5 rounds to go to round 48. Do not forget that for each round we are going to increase 1 stitch on both sides. So just keep doing the same, increasing 1 stitch on both sides, and in the middle you just continue this and crocheting the stitches one by one. So I just want to tell you the total quantity of stitches that you're gonna have for round 44. You're gonna have 98 stitches in total. For round 45 you're going to have 100 stitches in total. For round 46 you're going to have 102 stitches in total. For round 47 you're going to have 104 stitches in total, and for round 48 you're going to have 106 stitches in total. This is for size S. So I am going to continue crocheting now another 5 rounds as I told you, and here I arrive around 48 where I'm going to be ending up with 106 stitches, always increasing 1 stitch here on both sides. Okay, you guys, here we are. I did finish all the increases on the both sides. So I finished the 7th round with increases, which is the 48th round of the full panel. So once you do this panel, I will leave it like this with the yarn attached, and I am going to start the pattern for the sleeves. So for the sleeves, we are going to start with 26 chain stitches. And then we are going to connect now the end with the beginning. Just be careful to not have the chain stitches entangled. So I'm going to, this is the front and this is the back. I'm going to make it like this, round, then front with front. So this is going to be the first stitch of this first round. So here and here, like this. So here is the first stitch, and I'm going to just insert the hook and do a single crochet, and this is the first stitch of the first round. And I would suggest you to put a marker, because here the first stitch of the round we are always going to do the increases. So once I did the first stitch, I'm going to continue crocheting for all the stitches one by one single crochet on each stitch. So in total we're gonna have for the first round 26 single crochet stitches. So here we are, I have 26 single crochet stitches, and now I'm going to continue crocheting the second round. But the second round, it is going to be with a waistcoat stitch, so I am going to continue crocheting the second, third and fourth round with the waistcoat stitch without increasing. So I am going to continue from second round until the fourth round, 26 waistcoat stitches for each round. So I will meet you once I finish the fourth, at the end of the fourth round. Of course, from the second round we use the waistcoat stitch. So put the marker back at the first stitch of the round and just keep crocheting again until the end here, until you have in total 4 rounds. Okay guys, here we are. So I finished the 4 rows with 26 stitches. Now I'm going to start the 5th round, and on the 5th round I'm going to do the increase. So I'm going to crochet where I have the first stitch of the round. I'm going to crochet 2 stitches in 1 stitch. So the pattern, it is going to be 1 increase and 25 stitches. So 1 and 2. I'm going to put the marker at the first stitch that I crocheted here. So I have 2 stitches in 1 stitch. I'm going to put the marker at the first stitch. And now I am going to continue crocheting another 25 stitches until I arrive at the end of the round. In total there are going to be 27 stitches. And here we are, I finished the 5th round where I increased. Now we are going to start the 6th round, and for 6th, 7th and 8th round, for these next 3 rounds, we are not going to do any increases. We're just going to crochet 27 stitches for each round. Here we are, I did finish the 8th round, so as you can see, here is the first increase that I did on the 5th round, and then I went 1, 2, 3 rounds without increasing. So I finished the 3rd round, and the 3rd round without increasing, but actually is the 8th round of the sleeve pattern, actually will end up 1 stitch before the marker, right? So now this means that if I continue working here, I am starting the 9th round. Now the pattern for the 9th round, it is going to be 1 increase, which means that at the first stitch of the round, I'm going to crochet 2 stitches. So here I am going to put another marker here where I have the first one, so I know without looking at them, because later on we're going to have the longer, bigger sleeve, so I can just count the markers and I know how many increases I did. Okay, so I put another marker at the first stitch that I crocheted, and I'm not going to put a marker over here because it is actually easy to follow up. You see, like, I have the marker here and it is easy to know, to follow up where is the first stitch. So this marks also the first stitch of the round. And then I'm going to continue with 26 more stitches. So I will continue crocheting another 26 stitches and I will end up here where at the end of the 9th round. In total, together with the increase, we are going to have 28 stitches. Okay, so this was the pattern for the 9th round, and now I'm going to start the pattern for the 10th round. And for the 10th, 11th and 12th round, so for another 3 rounds from the 10th to the 12th, I'm not going to do any increases. I'm just going to crochet 28 stitches per round. So I will start the 10th round with 28 stitches per round, and then I will continue the same pattern for the 11th, and the same for the 12th round. So I will meet you once I finish the 12th round. Okay, so here we are. I finished the 12th round. So as you can see, the pattern it repeats itself. So 1 increase and then 3 rounds without increase. So then again, 1 increase and then 3 rounds without increase. So this is the pattern that I'm going to continue now for another 40 rounds. So what I mean is this, that I am going to repeat this sets of patterns, and the set of pattern is 1 increase and then 3 rounds without increases, and each set of pattern has 4 rounds. So I am going to repeat that pattern 10 more times together with these 2 sets that I did over here. So this is one set and this is the second set. It is in total 12 sets, which means that for this sleeve I have been doing 12 increases. So each marker shows an increase. So for the third set, I am going to do again 1 increase here at the first stitch. Then I'm going to continue around 27 stitches more. In total, there are going to be 29 stitches. And then the next 3 rounds, there are going to be no increases. So I will continue crocheting 29 stitches per round. So each set that I do, I increase 1 stitch. So which means that at the third set, we're gonna have 29 stitches. At the fourth set, we're gonna have 30 stitches. At the fifth set, we're gonna have 31 stitches, and so on until the 12th set. At the 12th set, we're gonna have in total per round 38 stitches. So when you are going to finish the 12th set of increases, you're gonna end up with 38 stitches. Okay, you guys, another update. I finished the third increasing pattern, so you can see that this is my third increase. So I did at the 13th round increased with 1 stitch, and then I continued another 3 rounds without increasing. I am going to continue increasing every 4 rounds, and I am going to do that until I have in total 12 increases. So I am going to continue increasing for another 8 times, which means I'm going to repeat this pattern 8 more times, which in total is 48 rounds. So when I finish the 48th round, I am going to have in total 37 stitches. Okay, you guys, here we are. I did finish 11 increases, so this is my 11th one, and this is the full pattern of 1 increase, which includes 4 rounds. So this is the 11th increase, and then another 3 rounds with no increases, right? So I am here at round 48. I ended up around 48. Now I'm going to start round 49. At the round 49, I am going to do 1 increase. So at round 49, I am going to do here at the first stitch of the round, I'm going to do 1 increase, and then I'm going to continue another 36 stitches until I arrive at the end. Here it is, I finished the last increase, the 12th increase, and now I am just going to go one more round, the 50th round, without increases. So I'm going to continue for the 50th round, crocheting 38 stitches all around. Okay, here we are. I finished the full pattern for one sleeve, and I am going to now just do one chain and cut the yarn. I am going to leave some yarn over here because I am going to do some sewing. And this is the pattern for the sleeve, and once you do one, you have to crochet another one. So here in my case, I have 2 of them. So now we crocheted the bodice and 2 sleeves. Now let me show you how we can just put all the 3 panels together. Okay, you guys, so I hope you can see this because it's quite big. So we are going to have the bodice part. In total for the size S, we have 106 stitches. So you're gonna have to do these calculations. You're gonna leave 50 stitches in the front, you're gonna leave 50 stitches in the back, and then you're gonna leave here 3 stitches on this side and 3 stitches on this side. These 3 stitches on this side we're gonna sew with 3 stitches on the sleeve, and these 3 stitches on this other side we're gonna sew just very simple, so you don't have to worry about that, with 3 stitches of the other sleeve. So for the size S, we ended up with 38 stitches in total, and 3 stitches we're going to sew over here, right? So 3 stitches we're going to sew with 3 stitches here. So in total we're going to have left 35 stitches, and the same thing with this other side. So first let's sew 3 stitches here, and be careful to leave 50 stitches in between the other 3 stitches on this side. Okay, so let's sew the 3 stitches with this sleeve and 3 stitches of the bodice with this other sleeve. Okay, so I am putting a marker at the center stitch, so this is the center stitch, and I'm also calculating the 1 stitch on each side. Okay, so here I had the last increase, but I feel that the center is over here. So I'm going to sew this 1, 2, 3 stitches. So I put a marker at the center stitch. So I'm going to sew this 3 stitches with the sleeve. And from here, I'm going to count now 50 stitches until on the other side. Then once I have 50 stitches, and then I'm going to count another 3 stitches over here that I'm going to sew with the other sleeve. So as I told you, you have to leave 50 stitches in both sides, and 3 stitches on this side and 3 stitches on this other side. From my calculations from here, so here is the line, and I'm going to sew 3 stitches. So 1, 2, 3. These 3 stitches are going to be sewn with these 3 stitches over here. So I will place, this is the first stitch and this is the first stitch over here. So I'm going to place them with the corresponding stitch and just sew. I'm going to go a few times per stitch so that we don't have holes. Okay, so now is the turn for the second stitch. And the third stitch. Just simple as that. Okay, and I'm going to wave in, and so this is how it looks like. I'm going to take out the marker over here because I don't need it anymore. And I'm going to do the same thing on the other side. So the yarn that I did not cut for the bodice, it's lucky for me because it's exactly the 50th stitch for the bodice. And I'm going to leave it like this because once I sew, I am going to go around and connect all 3. So I highly suggest not to cut the yarn, but if your calculations make this 50 stitches that maybe one of these stitches has to be sewn, then you have to cut the yarn. I hope this makes sense, but anyway. So I am just going to start from here where I have the marker. So 1, 2, 3. Okay, so once you have sewn both sides, your work will look like this. And now I am going to start crocheting all around. So I am just going to give you some calculations, but for every size, of course, this varies. So for size M, I have 50 stitches over here to crochet. I have 35 stitches all around over here until this one. I have 50 stitches on the other side, and again I have another 35 stitches to crochet until here. So in total, from my calculations, I am going to have, once I crochet all around over here and here and here, and I come over here to finish the first round, I have in total 170 stitches. So I'm going to take my hook now, and I just wanted to show you the big picture. So we are just going to crochet all the stitches one by one, all around the sleeve, at the back. Of course, we come here, we do 50, and then we start here at the sleeve, all around 35. Then we come 35 here, and then we jump to the front stitches, and the front stitches are 50. Okay, so let's crochet all around 170 stitches. Of course, these are waistcoat stitches. So now I'm jumping directly from the bodice to the sleeve. So this is the bodice, this is where I sewn, and if you see, this is the stitch that I sew with this one, so these are connected. So my next stitch to crochet the sleeve is this one over here. So I am just going to insert the hook. So this is the stitch, but I have to do waistcoat stitch, so I have to insert it right here, and I'm gonna do a waistcoat stitch. This is my first stitch of the round, so I'm going to put a marker to know where it is. Then I'm going to crochet all the stitches one by one. So this is the first stitch of the sleeve, don't forget. So we started directly from the sleeve. So this is the first stitch from the sleeve, and in total around the sleeve we must have, once we arrive here at the end of the sleeve, we must have 35 stitches for the size S. So I have put an orange marker to mark the first stitch of the sleeve and also the first stitch of the round. Now I ended up here with all around the sleeve. I ended up with 35 stitches, and now I'm going to start the bodice part. And the bodice part, I have to find first, so this is sewn. So this is my first stitch from the bodice part, is over here. So I'm gonna do a waistcoat stitch. And again here I'm going to put a marker. I'm going to put a marker that shows where the beginning of each side starts. So I put a marker to show the beginning of the round and of the sleeve, and I'm gonna put a marker at the first stitch of the bodice part, and I will make sure that the other markers are the same color but different from this one, because I want to know where the round starts. Okay, so the other markers are going to be all in yellow color, but this marker is going to be in orange because I want to know where the round starts. So now from this marker and on, I'm going to crochet 50 stitches for the bodice part. So I did already one, I'm going to crochet another 49. Okay, I finished then on the bodice side 50 stitches. So now I'm going to jump on the sleeve. And on the sleeve I'm going to have again 35 stitches, same as the other one. So this is the first sleeve, the first stitch of the sleeve. I will put a marker, and I already crocheted one, and so I'm going to continue crocheting another 34 until the end of the sleeve. Okay, so I finished the 35 stitches on this side, and now the last part is 50 stitches on the bodice, and I am done with the full one round. Okay, so I'm going to continue 50 stitches on the other side of the bodice until the end. Okay guys, so here we are. This was the first round. There are no increases or decreases. We just went one round all around. So now I am going to start the pattern that actually we are going to do for the yoke over here. So it will come like this, and it will be worked again all in rounds. Okay, so let me just tell you now the pattern, and I'm going to call it as round 1 for the yoke, okay? For the yoke. Okay, so the pattern, it is going to be like this. First, we are going to do all the stitches one by one from the marker over here. So we're going to do all the stitches until the last stitch over here. But the last stitch we are not going to crochet, so we are going to crochet 34 stitches instead. So we are not going to crochet the last one. Okay, so once I crocheted 34 stitches, now the last stitch here of the sleeve and the first stitch of the bodice, I am going to do one decrease. So I'm going to take out the marker actually, and I'm going to do a decrease. So I'm going to insert the hook at the last stitch of the sleeve, pull through, and insert the hook again at the first stitch of the bodice, and I'm going to yarn over and pull through, and this is going to be like my center stitch. So I did decrease with one stitch, I did one decrease, so this is going to be my center stitch, because in here I'm going to do all the decreases for the next round. So now I am going to continue crocheting on the bodice part, and I am going to crochet in total 48 stitches until one stitch before the last one. So at the end, at the last stitch here, we're not going to crochet the last one. So from the one decrease that I did, so I'm going to continue crocheting now another 48 stitches, and the last stitch we're gonna use it for another decrease. Okay, so here we are. I did 48 stitches at the bodice panel, and I am left with one stitch here, the last stitch of the bodice panel. So I'm going to take out the marker from the first stitch of the sleeve, and I am actually going to do one decrease. So I'm going to insert the hook at the last stitch of the bodice, pull through one loop, and insert the hook at the, again doing the waistcoat stitch, right? I'm going to insert the hook at the first stitch of the sleeve and pull through. So I have 3 loops, yarn over and pull through all the 3 loops. So this is going to be my center stitch, where I'm going to do a lot of other increases for the coming rounds. Okay, now we are back at the sleeve. So at the sleeve we are going to crochet now 33 stitches, and we are going to 33 stitches are at the stitch before the last one. Okay, so I finished 33 stitches, and now the last stitch of the sleeve and the first stitch of the bodice I'm going to decrease. So I will take out the marker, and I'm going to insert the hook at the last stitch of the bodice and pull through, and then insert the hook again at the first stitch of the last stitch of the sleeve, and then insert the hook at the first stitch of the bodice and pull through, and yarn over and pull through. And this is going to be my center stitch where I'm gonna do all the increases. And now I have the last part of the pattern, which is the bodice, and from here until the end I am going to crochet 48 stitches, one stitch before the marker. Okay, so I'm going to crochet here 48 stitches, and I'm going to be ending over here. So one stitch here at the end of the bodice is going to be without worked, so without crocheted. There we're gonna do the decrease. Okay, so finished the last part of the pattern, 48 stitches, and I am going to now do one decrease. So I'm going to decrease these 2 stitches, the last stitch of the bodice and the first stitch of the sleeve. So I am going to take out the marker, and I'm going to insert the hook at the last stitch of the bodice, pull through, and insert the hook at the first stitch of the sleeve and yarn over and pull through. I have 3 loops and pull through all the 3 loops, and this is going to be the center stitch where I'm going to do all the decreases for the coming rounds. So in total, for the first round, we are going to have 166 stitches. Now, if you count even the stitch that I crocheted over here, you're gonna have 167. But remember, here is where we actually start the round for, excuse me, I'm talking about rounds, not rows. Okay, so anyway, if you count this one as well, you're gonna have 167, but this is part of the coming round. Okay, so of the second round. So we have already actually made the first stitch of the second round, but it is not easy to explain. So we are going to start now the pattern for the second round, and for the second round we are going to now continue crocheting, and on each marker that you have over here we're gonna do one decrease. So for the second round, even though we did the second round, as I told you, starts with a decrease. Okay, so we have already started that, so we did one decrease. So now I'm going to continue crocheting the second round, and the pattern will be 32 stitches all around the sleeve. So we're going to end up with one stitch before here, so we're going to be left with one stitch before the marker. So 32 stitches. Okay, so I crocheted 32 stitches, and now I am left with one stitch here for the sleeve. So for that I am going to do a decrease of 2. So from now on we are going to decrease 2 stitches on both sides. So we are going to take out the marker at the center stitch. So I'm going to insert the hook at the last stitch of the sleeve, yarn over, pull through. I'm going to insert the hook at the center stitch. So if you see, the V is over here at the center stitch. So I'm going to insert the hook at the center stitch. So let me show you how I'm going to grab the center stitch. So if you see, the center stitch has this and also another V here. So I'm going to just in the middle of this and in the middle of the other one and insert the hook. So it's going to look like this at the back. Yarn over, pull through, so the yarn is going to come through right here in the middle of this V here. So this is number 2. Then again, yarn, insert the hook at the first stitch of the bodice, yarn over, pull, yarn over, pull through, and then yarn over and pull through all the 4 loops together. This is going to be the center stitch, so just put here, we decreased with 2 stitches because we had 3 stitches. We had the center stitch and 1 stitch at the bodice, at the beginning of the bodice, and 1 stitch at the end of the sleeve. And now we ended up again with 1 stitch, so we decreased 2 stitches now. Okay, so now we're going to continue with the bodice. So now at the bodice we're going to continue crocheting 46 stitches, and we're gonna be ending up 1 stitch before the marker. So I finished 46 stitches, and now again here I'm going to decrease with 2 stitches, which means that I'm going to insert the hook at the last stitch of the bodice, at the center stitch, and the first stitch of the sleeve, and I'm going to crochet just 1 stitch. So from these 3 stitches. So I'm going to take out the marker for the center stitch, and I am going to insert the hook at the last stitch and pull through 1 loop, and then insert the hook at the center stitch, same as I explained to you at the other one. So try to insert the hook right here at the center to have that V effect, and yarn over and pull through. And then again insert the hook at the first stitch of the sleeve right here at the center, yarn over and pull through. So you're gonna have 4 loops in your hook, yarn over and pull through all the 4 loops. And here you're gonna put the marker. This is the center stitch for the next round. Then next we're going to crochet the second sleeve, and for the second sleeve we're gonna have to crochet now 31 stitches. Okay, so here we are. I finished 31 stitches, and now here I'm gonna decrease with 2 stitches, which means I am going to take out the marker at the center stitch, and I'm going to insert the hook at the last stitch of the sleeve, yarn over and pull through, insert the hook at the center of the center stitch, yarn over and pull through, and insert the hook at the first stitch of the bodice, and yarn over and pull through. And I have 4 loops, yarn over and pull through all the 4 loops, and this is going to be your center stitch, and I decreased with 2 stitches now. And now the last part of the pattern for the second round, it is the bodice part. So in total you're gonna have to crochet another 46 stitches, so you're gonna end up with 1 stitch before the marker, and this is the pattern for the second round. So let's continue another 46 stitches to the end. Okay, so here we are. I finished also the 46 stitches at the, so this is the last part of the second round. Now we're going to start the third round. For the third round I still have 1 stitch left from the bodice, so I'm going to decrease again with 2 stitches, same logic as the second round. So we're going to take out the center marker. I'm going to insert the hook at the last stitch of the bodice, yarn over, pull through, insert the hook at the center stitch, at the center of the center stitch, and insert the hook at the first stitch of the sleeve, yarn over, pull through, and we're gonna have 4 loops on the hook, and yarn over and pull through all the 4 loops. So this is going to be our center stitch now. Put the marker, and I am going to continue crocheting now the sleeve. So the sleeve I need to crochet 30 stitches. This is the pattern for the third round. So once I finish the 30 stitches for the sleeve, I am going to do again the decrease with 2 stitches. So I'm going to take out the marker of the center stitch. So I'm going to insert the hook at the last stitch of the sleeve, yarn over, pull through, insert the hook at the center of the center stitch, yarn over, pull through 1 loop, and insert the hook again on the first stitch of the bodice section, yarn over, pull through, and yarn over and pull through all the 4 loops, and this is the center stitch now. And now I'm going to continue the pattern for the bodice, and for the bodice I'm gonna have to crochet here 44 stitches. And once I finish 44 stitches for the bodice, I'm gonna have to do 1 decrease here, again decreasing 2 stitches. Then I'm going to continue crocheting at the sleeve, at the second sleeve, 29 stitches. Then I'm going to do another decrease here between the sleeve, the second sleeve, and the bodice. And then I'm going to continue crocheting here at the bodice at the end, 44 stitches. So this is the pattern that I'm going to follow now. So 44 stitches for the bodice, decreasing 2 stitches here at the center, the same as I did on the other sides. We are going to decrease 2, which means that we insert the hook at the last stitch of the previous section, insert the hook at the center stitch, and insert the hook at the first stitch of the next section, and then we just do 1 stitch there, so we decrease with 2. So 44 stitches, decreasing 2 stitches, 29 stitches for the sleeve, decrease 2 stitches, and then again 44 stitches, and then we are done with the pattern of the 3rd round. So I'm just going to continue do that pattern, and I will meet you at the end of the 3rd round. Okay, you guys, so here it is. I finished the 3rd round, and I'm going to start the pattern for the 4th round. Now you understand how the pattern works. From the 2nd round, the pattern starts always with a decrease, and the decrease is of that of 2 stitches, which means that we're gonna have to crochet 3 stitches in 1 stitch. Okay, so now the pattern for the 4th round, it is going to be like this. So I'm gonna do 1 decrease over here. I'm gonna crochet 28 stitches for all the first sleeve. Then I'm gonna do a 2nd decrease over here. Then I'm gonna work 42 stitches at the first side of the bodice. Then I'm gonna do another decrease, and then I'm gonna crochet here 27 stitches for this sleeve, then another decrease over here, and then at the end 42 stitches to finish the round. So this is the pattern that I'm going to use for the 4th round. In total, I'm gonna have 143 stitches. Okay, here it is. I finished the 4th round, and my work looks like this. And now I'm going to start the pattern for the 5th round. So for the 5th round, again, I'm going to do 2 decreases over here, which means 1 decrease, but I will decrease 2 stitches. Then I am going to continue with 26 stitches for the sleeve side. Then I'm going to do another decrease over here. Then at the bodice, I'm going to crochet 40 stitches. Then another decrease over here. Again, I will decrease 2 stitches. Then at the second sleeve, I'm going to have 25 stitches all around. Then I'm going to do the last decrease over here. So I'm going to decrease again 2 stitches. And then at the end, at the bodice here, at the last part of the bodice, I'm going to crochet another 40 stitches. In total, all around, I'm going to have 135 stitches. Okay, you guys, so here it is. I finished the 5th round, and now we're going to start the pattern for the 6th round. So I'm going to tell you the pattern for the 6th round, which is decreasing 2 stitches over here, and then we're going to do 24 stitches for the sleeve all around. Then we're going to do another decrease over here. Then for the bodice part, we have 38 stitches. Then we're going to decrease another 2 stitches over here, and then we're going to have 23 stitches for the sleeve, then the last decrease over here, and then for the bodice part we're going to do another 38 stitches. So in total for the 6th round I'm going to have to crochet 127 stitches. Okay, here it is. I finished the 6th round, and now I'm going to give you the pattern for the 7th round. So for the 7th round, we're going to do again a decrease of 2 stitches over here. Then we're going to crochet 22 stitches for the sleeve. Then a second decrease over here of 2 stitches. Then at the back here, we're going to crochet for the bodice 36 stitches. then the third decrease of 2 stitches here, and then we're going to continue with 21 stitches for the sleeve, then the last and fourth decrease of 2 stitches over here, and then at the end again another 36 stitches to the end. So this is the pattern for the 7th round. Okay, you guys, here it is. I finished around 7 in total. For at the end of the 7th round, you're gonna have 119 stitches. Now we're gonna start the pattern for the 8th round, and for the 8th round I'm going to follow the following pattern. I'm going to do 1 decrease over here, which means I'm going to decrease 2 stitches, and then I'm going to continue with 20 stitches around the sleeve. I'm going to do the second decrease over here. I will decrease 2 stitches again, as always. I am going to crochet 34 stitches at the panel here at the back, then a third decrease with 2 stitches, then I'm going to do 19 stitches for this sleeve, then the last decrease with 2 stitches over here, and then at the end another 34 stitches to finish the 8th round. In total I'm going to have 111 stitches. Okay, so now I am going to start the pattern for the 9th round. So for the 9th round, I am going to do 2 decreases here. I'm just going to decrease 2 stitches as usual. I'm going to crochet 18 stitches for the sleeve. I'm going to do another decrease of 2 stitches over here, the second one. Here at the back, I need 32 stitches, then I'm going to do another decrease over here, and then here I have 17 stitches, fourth decrease, and again another 32 waistcoat stitches. In total I am going to have 103 stitches for the 9th round. Okay, you guys, here we are. I finished the 9th round, and now I'm going to start the pattern for the 10th round. For the 10th round, we're going to follow this pattern. I'm going to decrease 2 stitches over here, then I'm going to crochet 16 stitches for the sleeve, another decrease of 2 stitches over here, then I have 30 stitches for the bodice part, then I have a decrease of 2 stitches here, then I will continue with 15 stitches for the sleeve, a decrease of 2 stitches at the last here, and then we are going to do another 30 stitches for the bodice part, and this is the pattern for the 10th round. And here we are. I finished the 10th round. In total I had 95 stitches. Now I'm going to start the pattern for the 11th round. For the 11th round, we're going to do this pattern. I will decrease 2 stitches over here. I will crochet 14 stitches for the sleeve. Again, decrease here at the connection with the bodice. Then I have 28 stitches for the bodice. Then another decrease of 2 stitches over here. Then I'm going to crochet 13 stitches for the sleeve. Then a last decrease of 2 stitches, and then again another 28 stitches for the bodice part. In total I'm going to have 87 stitches. Okay, here we are. I finished the 11th round, and now I'm going to start the pattern for the 12th round. And for the 12th round I'm going to follow this pattern. I'm going to decrease with 2 stitches here at the corner, again 12 stitches for the sleeve, another decrease of 2 stitches, then 26 stitches here at the back at the bodice, another decrease of 2 stitches, then 11 stitches for the sleeve, another decrease of 2 stitches, and then at the end we have another 26 stitches to finish here the bodice. In total we're going to have 79 stitches. And here we are. I finished the 12th round, and now I'm going to start the pattern for the 13th round. For the 13th round I'm going to do this pattern. I'm going to decrease with 2 stitches over here, then I'm going to crochet 10 stitches for the sleeve, a second decrease over here of 2 stitches, then here at the back 24 stitches, a third decrease here, and then another 9 stitches for the sleeve, and the fourth decrease over here of 2 stitches always, and at last 24 stitches for the bodice. In total I'm gonna have 71 stitches all around. And here we are. I finished the 13th round, and now we are going to crochet the 14th round. For the 14th round we are going to follow this pattern. We will decrease with 2 stitches over here, then we have 8 stitches for the sleeve, a second decrease with 2 stitches, then we have 22 stitches for the bodice, a third decrease with 2 stitches, then we have 7 stitches for the sleeve, a fourth decrease with 2 stitches, and then at the end we have 22 stitches for the bodice. In total for the 14th round we're gonna have 63 stitches. And here we are, I finished the 14th round, and now we are going to crochet the pattern for the 15th round. So the pattern for the 15th round, it is going to be 2 decreases here, 2 stitches, we decrease here, then we're gonna have 6 stitches here for the sleeve, then a second decrease of 2 stitches, then 20 stitches for the bodice, a third decrease of 2 stitches here, and then we have 5 stitches for the sleeve, and a fourth decrease of 2 stitches, and at the end 20 stitches here for the bodice. In total we're gonna end up with 55 stitches. Okay guys, so here it is. I finished the 15th round, and if you are using a thinner yarn than the one that I am using, you can just stop working at the 15th round and then start doing the ribbing for the neck. But in my case, I have to continue with another row. So I am going to give you the pattern for the 16th round, and for the 16th round we are going to do this pattern. We're going to do a decrease of 2 stitches over here, then we're going to crochet 4 stitches for the sleeve, another decrease of 2 stitches, and then 18 stitches here at the bodice, a third decrease of 2 stitches, then 3 stitches for the sleeve, then the last decrease of 2 stitches over here, and 18 stitches for the bodice. In total we are going to crochet 47 stitches. Okay, here we are. I finished the 16th round, and now I'm going to do one more round, which is the 17th, and the pattern for the 17th round, it is going to be like this: 2 decreases, 2 stitches of decrease over here, then I'm going to do 2 stitches for the sleeve over here, then another decrease of 2 stitches, then here at the back at the bodice I'm going to have 16 stitches, 2 decrease of stitches here, then here at the sleeve just 1 more stitch, and here I'm going to decrease another 2 stitches, and then here another 18 stitches. In total I'm going to have 39 stitches. Okay, here we are. I did finish and it looks like this. So now I am going to actually close, and this is my last round, the 17th round. But to have a nice looking closure over here, what I'm going to do, I am actually going to take out this marker, and I am actually going to do one more decrease, because we have here a certain way that it doesn't look very nice. So I am actually going to do also the last decrease over here. So I will insert at the last stitch of the bodice panel, insert again at the center stitch, and insert again at the first stitch of the sleeve, and I'm going to do one yarn over and crochet, pull through. Then I'm going to do one more stitch over here at the sleeve, and here I'm going to do one chain, pull the yarn and leave some yarn, and I am done. And this I am going to just wave it in, but I am going to mark it actually so I don't lose this stitch, because this is my last stitch. I'm gonna put a marker so I know that this is my last stitch. So your work it is going to look like this for the S size, and I guess for the other sizes as well. It's just that for another size it's going to be bigger. Now I am going to do the ribbing for the neck, and then ribbing for the sleeves, for the cuffs, and also for the end. So for that we are going to need another size of hook. Okay, so for the border we are going to take a 5.5 millimeter hook, and with the same yarn we are going to crochet the ribbing. So for the ribbing we are going to, for the neck ribbing over here, so this is the back, I am going to insert the hook right here at the center of one of the stitches in the middle, and this I'm going to make sure that this is the back. Okay, so when we sew the ribbing it will be on the back. So insert the hook, as I told you, right here in the center of one of the stitches in the middle, and then take your yarn, pull through, tangle a little bit and leave the end, and be careful that the end does not escape. Then crochet 5 chains, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then skip the first stitch from the first chain from the hook and insert the hook at the second chain from the hook and just do a slip stitch. If you have problems with counting, I would suggest you to put a marker at here, so this you will not mistake later on the counting. So you can put a marker here at the first one and continue crocheting at the second chain stitch, 1 slip stitch again, and then at the third one, 1 slip stitch, so 1, 2, 3. Then at the fourth one, again 1 slip stitch. So we have now 4 slip stitches. Then we have arrived here at the end. Then insert the hook at the next stitch here, and then yarn over and pull through like a slip stitch. Then we are going to turn our work totally like this. And now we are going to work the ribbing. So now we are going to work the ribbing this way. And we are going to skip this first stitch over here, but we are going to insert the hook on the second stitch, always at the back loop. So we are going to skip the first stitch and insert the hook at the second one, but always grabbing the back loop. So this is slip stitch through the back loop, okay? And again, back loop of the next stitch, yarn over, pull through, slip stitch, and again insert the hook at the back loop of the third stitch, yarn over, pull through, and at the fourth one. So this is the fourth one, yarn over, pull through, and pull through. Then 1 chain, and turn your work again like this. And now we are going to work towards this way, where we have the, so we are here. Now we are going to work this way. I would take out the marker from here because I'm going to use it for the next stitch. So I turn my work, and now I'm working this way. So I'm going to skip the chain that I did and insert the hook at the back loop of the first stitch, yarn over, pull through, and slip stitch. And again I'm going to put a marker here so I know that this is the first stitch, and again find the back loop of the next stitch and insert the hook, yarn over and pull through, slip stitch. This is my second stitch. Insert the hook at the back loop of the third stitch and slip stitch, and the fourth one, yarn over and pull through. So I have 4 slip stitches. Now I arrived at the end. I'm going to insert the hook at the next stitch over here, right here at the center, yarn over, pull through, and like a slip stitch. And this we are not going to count, we are going to skip it on the way back. So this is how we are going to work. Now we are just repeating what we did before. We turn our work, and now we work this way towards the marker. So we are going to skip the first stitch and insert at the back loop of the second one, and slip stitch, and again at the next back loop, insert the hook and slip stitch, and so on, always in the back loop, slip stitch until you have 4 in total. Remove the marker, and then you can do 1 chain and turn your work like this. And now we can work towards our work on this way. So we are going to continue forth and back, grabbing all the stitches one by one. When you arrive over here, you can just grab all 3 of them. So we are just going to do that, grabbing all the stitches one by one all around until we come here at the last stitch. Okay, you guys, so here we are. I did finish the whole collar over here, and yeah, it looks like this at the back. I finished all the stitches one by one, and I left it here. I left some yarn, and I'm just going to sew it here. It's very simple. I'm just going to sew it this way, and of course hide the ends. And now about the sleeves here, the cuffs. At the cuffs, I'm just going to do the same thing that I did for the collar. The only thing is that for the cuffs, I am going to work 16 chain stitches. I will skip 1, which means that I'm going to work forth and back 15 slip stitches. Okay, so this is the amount of stitches that you're gonna need for the cuffs, and I'm just going to go around same as I did for the collar, and of course I'm gonna do that on both sides, and then I am going to sew it again like this. And for the bottom, I am just going to use again the same ribbing with a slip stitch. It's just that the amount of stitches that chains that I'm going to start is 6, and I'm going to skip 1, which means that I'm going to keep working forth and back the 5 stitches. So at the collar I had 5 chains, but I skipped 1 chain, so I worked 4 stitches, slip stitches, forth and back. At the cuffs I am going to do 16 chain stitches. I'm going to skip 1, and I'm going to work forth and back 15 slip stitches per row. And at the bottom I am going to crochet 6 chain stitches. I'm going to skip 1, and I'm going to continue crocheting forth and back the ribbing with a slip stitch for 5 stitches. So remember, 4, 15 and 5. Okay, so yeah, I'm going to continue finishing the ribbing here and here. Yeah, I'm going to finish the cuffs, and I'm going to finish the bottom of it, and let me show you how it all turned out.